Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be talking about Darius Slayton and the possibility of the Washington Commanders going after him, and also talking about him being linked to the Commanders multiple times this offseason. Also be talking about the possibility of Cooper Kupp to the Commanders. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. We're trying to hit 15k subscribers. We're like 150 away, something like that, so please help me get there. It's free, it takes 1 second. So let's get into it. It's free agency talk. We're about a month away from free agency, and things are starting to heat up. You know, you got the Senior Bowl that just happened, and, you know, teams talk there. Then you're going to have the Combine, and that's when things really start moving. But Kime was talking on his podcast, and he didn't say anything like, oh, the Commanders are interested in him, but he just, you know, name dropped Darius Slayton, like one of the only receivers that he, you know, name dropped besides like the obvious ones. He said Darius Slayton. And when Kime says something like that, you just have to keep in mind, you know, maybe it's a guy that they are going to go and target. And Darius Slayton, I know a lot of people might be like, you know what, he's not good. He's been on the Giants for his whole career, blah, blah, blah. I think he would be a very good receiver for the Commanders to have. He also, this is, I think this was the one of the playoff games, maybe the Lions game, maybe the Eagles game. I think it was probably the Eagles game that he tweeted Terry's top 5 receiver, and we'll get into that Cooper Kupp stuff later. But Darius Slayton, you look at his stats, very consistent. For the most part. There was one season where he didn't have the best year, 340 yards in 2021, also missed some games. But his rookie year, 740 yards, 8 tutties. The next year, 750, 3 touchdowns. The next year, that was the bad year. The year after that, 720 and 2 touchdowns. The year after that, 770 and 4 touchdowns. And this past year was a little bit of a down year. But, you know, he did miss... I guess he only missed, one game. He had 573 yards, but let's keep it real. The quarterback play was not good at all, and I mean, it wasn't good last year either, or really any year he's been there. But, you know, this year in particular, it was really bad with, you know, Daniel Jones for the beginning, and then you had Tommy DeVito, you had Drew Lock. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, but... he still had over almost 600 yards. So imagine what he can do with Jaden Daniels. He's a good deep threat. He's a quick guy. Let's see, yards per catch. Where is that? I'm trying to find it. But yards per reception, 15-ish per his. I guess 15 exactly for his whole career. That's pretty good. And, you know, he does a good job getting those long touchdowns. I mean, you see, 2023 had an 80-yard touchdown, 55, 42, 41, 55. So he does get some long touchdowns. I think he would be a solid option for the Commanders. You're not going to have to pay him a lot. He's not going to be cheap, but again, you're not going to have to pay him a lot. I think he would be a low tier 2 type of receiver that maybe with Jaden can turn into a high tier 2, a guy that gets you 800, 900, maybe even at his best 1,000 yards. I don't think he's ever going to be a star, but again, like I said, with Jaden Daniels it's going to be a lot easier for him to make plays than it was with Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Drew Lock, Glennon, everyone who, Drake From, everyone who he was catching passes from. So that's something to consider too. I don't know how much it would be. I'm guessing it would be around, I don't know, a 10-ish million a year, something like that, maybe a little bit lower. I know that seems like a lot, but the market keeps going up and up and up, and that's what the going rate is for too. So I'm thinking it's going to be that, maybe more, depending on how long of a contract he wants. If it's a 1-year deal, then I could see a little bit less, like a prove it deal with some incentives. But maybe if it's a longer term deal, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'd rather pay him, who is a guy that averages like 700 yards per season. Yeah, his 17 game average is 720 yards, versus a guy like De'Ami Brown, who has shown that he can ball out in some games, but his career high is 301 yards. 301 yards. I don't know if I want to pay the same amount for Dyami Brown that I'm going to pay for Darius Slayton. And maybe it's going to be a little bit, you're going to have to pay Darius Slayton a little bit more, but I'm, definitely willing to pay Darius Slayton. I'm willing to pay Darius Slayton double than I'm, willing to pay Dyami Brown. And Dyami, he's cool, but again, he's shown up some games, but he also has had big drops. He had the fumble in the Eagles game. He wasn't the only one, but I wouldn't give Dyami a multi-year deal. If he wants to come back, for cheap, whatever, but I respect his decision to not to. If he wants, this is the first time he gets to test the market. I think a team will pay him off his talent, where he was drafted a third-round pick who has shown at times that he is a decent receiver. But I'd rather pay the guy in Darius Slayton, who has shown every single season that he is a good receiver. So that's, besides 2021. And, I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 seasons where he's producing like a number 2 receiver with a, bad offense, just overall bad O-line, bad receivers around him, and then also just not good QB play. So he's a perfect 2, in my opinion, for the Washington Commanders. Would it be nice to have T. Higgins? Yeah, but instead of paying T. Higgins 30, you can pay Darius Slayton 10 for 70% of the production you're getting from Higgins, and then you can use that other $20 million to, pay for defensive lineman if you want, a D end, or maybe you want to sign an O-lineman or a corner, so whatever you want to do, or extend some guys. Maybe you want to extend Terry McLaurin. Maybe you're already thinking about some of the younger guys that they have under contract. So there's a lot you can do. I just, again, like I said, rather pay for $10 million for Darius Slayton for 70% of the production of T. Higgins, rather than paying 30-ish million for T. Higgins, who, does deal with some injuries. He's a good receiver. He's obviously better than Darius Slayton, but that's just my take there on the whole situation with Darius Slayton. Cooper Kupp, let me get into that real quick. So he didn't request a trade, but the Rams are looking to trade him and looking to trade him quick. I would be open to Cooper Kupp, but here's the thing with Cooper Kupp, and RG3 said the Commanders should do it. Let's look at his stats, because we obviously know he's a very talented guy, 31 years old, but obviously has a extensive injury history, and only one Pro Bowl is kind of crazy, it seems like. But yeah, look, it makes sense if you're looking at this. Just a lot of injuries. 2022, 9 games, 2023, 12 games, 2024, 12 games. His best, when he was healthy, he was a dog. 1,947 yards. He had a crazy playoff run too. Also won Super Bowl MVP. He had a really good year. He was an elite receiver. I still didn't think he was the best receiver in football. I thought it was Devontae Adams, but he was up there. And but yeah, the injuries have been very concerning with him. It happens every year, and this year, the yards per game were a little bit down, lowest in his career besides his rookie year, which was 58. So you see not only the injuries, but then also the plays declining a little bit. I remember in the last few games, the regular season, maybe even the playoffs, he didn't really do much. They weren't getting him the ball. It's more the Puka Nacua show and the Kyren Williams show than the Cooper Kupp show. So they're going to trade him. I don't think the value is high for him at all. I definitely wouldn't give up a day 2 pick for him. He's old, injury prone, isn't the same player, and is getting paid $28-30 million a year. I don't know exactly the amount, but it's around that, $25 to $30 million a year in his cap hit. That's not happening. So if you trade for him and you can work a restructure before the deal even happens, I would be willing to give up a day 3 pick. And if that doesn't get it done, that doesn't get it done. That's my opinion on the whole situation. So I would give up a 5th round pick, a 4th round pick. If you can restructure that deal, you know what? I think that would be good for the Commanders. A vet receiver that, you only gave up a 4th round pick for him, a 5th round pick for him, and a little bit of money. He might be healthy, he might not, but it's a risk you're willing to take. Okay, that's fine. And maybe you sign another vet and draft the guy. But definitely not willing to give up a 2nd or 3rd round pick and then, pay him what he's getting paid right now. Just no. So open to the idea, but most likely no. And then Myles Garrett, didn't make a video about it because everyone posted a video about it when it happened. I was at class, got back later. Obviously, would love Myles Garrett here. Yeah, if we can make it happen, make it happen. Willing to give up a first, 2 firsts if you need to. The reports were saying it was like a first and then like maybe a second, or a first, 2 thirds, and like a player. So that's kind of what they said. I would think maybe a little bit more than that. So maybe it's 2 firsts. I'm willing to do that. I don't know how much more I would be willing to give up. Also, you have to consider our picks are later, so they're much less valuable. But that is it for today's video. Just wanted to talk about Darius Slayton, his fit in DC. I do think it's a realistic possibility for the Commanders to go after him. I think, he's familiar with this team. He saw the magic they had this year, the whole season. Saw us twice this year. We weren't that good against the Giants, but still, he saw that up and close. He likes, seems like he really likes Terry, and then Kai mentioned that as well. So I think it's something to watch out for sure. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.